Hey, do me a favor, Papa. Go upstairs and turn the light on for me, all right? Please, Papa. I'm gonna take some of these vitamins with me. Where's my charcoal? There we go. Too much, man. I don't know. I'm gonna take a lighter back. I'm gonna take some of this ammo, man. That's too much. Keep forgetting. These little early boys on so got weird. Maybe act a little weird, but I'm fine, man. I think both of them. I think I'm serious, right? I gotta read and I gotta eat and we're gonna practice stuff in the truck. So, all right, let's put this over here. I'm gonna take that solar panel. Let me go get the box. Let me get the box and go eating, reading, eating, talking. Oh snap! You know what? I'll take this one because that box is upstairs with the other two. I'll just take this one. It's that one right there. We'll leave this one. It's tested, it's running. So. Serious? Yeah? Maybe we'll run all four of them. We'll see. Let's go ahead and get reading because I need to get this done and sit back and relax. Going to bed. Going to sleep a little early. Hey, as usual. But I'm okay either way. What the frig, man? Yeah. Okay. Unbelievable. They're doing their job. I said I was gonna read, but I need people in here to read. But I know they want to block everything, so I wouldn't expect less. They're doing their best to block and hide. They're doing their best, bro. They're doing their best to hide me. You can't make it up, man. It tickles me, actually. It tickles me. I'm just going to share a little bit of information and we'll get right into the reading. I am just so surprised. You can't make it up, man. It tickles me. It really does. I know some of y'all may be thinking otherwise, but no, it really does. I always say, those who don't hear are the ones that lose out. It's not me. It's not me. I don't never lose out in this situation. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it because I'm hungry and I gotta change that bag. I'm not taking that big bag. I'm gonna put the ammo into some ammo cans and take it like that. And I got my cleaning kit, so I'll take enough for a 9 and my AR platforms. That's it. I'll take some 40 cal because my truck gun is always my Mic-Mac. And that's it. Because right now, and I'll take 2 earmuffs and some plugs. But I've got in that bag. It's just it weighs about 60 pounds. It's 60 pounds solid. That's my USCCA bag, and that is I don't need all that. I mean, unless things are going to go bad, but so I got to change it up. So let's get into reading. How y'all doing this afternoon? First, let's go ahead and. How many of y'all are aware of who controls all the media? They're called the black box. Are y'all aware of that? So don't nothing go out there unless it comes from them or goes through them. Now this is another deep state subsidiary. They're not Christian, Muslims, religious, or anything. I want y'all to look into that and see what you find. I was going to talk about it last week, and I didn't really want to go into it because I'd have been on my other channel. I probably will unmask and beat it up a lot, but I'm just going to throw it out there. And there's other individuals. They control this. They control Google. Seriously, black box. Look into it. And I figured since they want to sit there and shun me or making a callous mistake knowingly and willingly, then I might as well talk about them because I don't care about the next move. You dig what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and get in reading. I just wanted to throw that out there. I gotta get rest a little earlier tonight, at least so I can leave early in the AM. You know what I'm saying? Mama Red, we popped up. Y'all, who's all in? I know Rondo in, right? Hey, Susu, Rondo, Mama Red. I wish more people would chime in and share love. You know? This is spinach and artichoke. with pesto and olive oil, and it is phenomenal. It's my second meal from 2 hours when I had the shake and my little flat veggie burger with the smallest burger in the world. Let's get into it. Oh my goodness. So, I'm going to kick it off with parsley's pretty hard. Stem. Parsley. Jerry Jones, An Original History of Ancient America. Section 4. I'm just going to go right in, okay? I like to chew 100 to 120 times, but I'm so hungry. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just thought this is delicioso. Okay, engraved gems. This is a branch, and I'm going to read like 1 or 2 paragraphs. We're not going to do a whole lot. I'm going to get to the heaven bearers. This is a branch of the fine arts, the most ancient in practice or that is mentioned in history, sacred or profane, and although gems are not received like coins or medals as conclusive proofs of events, yet they cannot be rejected on the score of doubtful antiquity. I just wanted to reiterate, because I should do that, especially with these long reads. Let me pick it up over here. Aaron's breastplate of judgment was to contain 12 precious stones or gems, each stone to have engraved upon it the name of a tribe of Israel. And thou shalt set it in settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, ruby, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This shall be the first row, and the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. In the third row, a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row, a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosings. And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12, according to their names, like the engravings of a signet. Everyone with his name shall they be according to the 12 tribes. We know that there's some perversion in there, but how much? Because you got to remember, out of the 67 continents, there's more land out there, and the tribes were everywhere, scattered. They had to make a misnomer, just like Jesse James, in Nebraska, saying that it's his land and he owns slaves, and they have a slave house that they rebuilt. There's no stove in there or nothing, and it gets below zero. And I sit here and say the fiction they have to construct and the narratives they paint, even the family's name, the bomb they threw in there which killed the doctor, the son tore him up, and then later on the wife whose arm had to be amputated. Think about the narratives, the whitewashing. And we think he was born in 18 what? Murdered. He died murdered by a coward, supposedly, like so many of our people, like my ancestors, shot in the head. Okay, in 1881, right? His wife, one arm, lived to 1900. So, in their year of their Lord. So, the stones, doesn't it remind you of the heaven bearer? All the stones on, and they don't specifically speak of them, because you remember it's written by a Pelskin, right? And they're using a stick that has emeralds on it for power. Are you now learning that you can harness plasma, that you are a part of the electoral continuum, that you are not the physical thing that you see, but a representation of the crystal? They did it. You know what movie they showed you? And they had to use a vampire? Twilight Saga, laying under the sunlight and he was shimmering. Let me tell you something. They put it all in your face because they're playing with you. Okay? I just want you to put the puzzle pieces together. I just want you to look at how powerful you truly are. Now, they attempted to keep me from going live over here. It's so comical. They're so fearful. I thought they rejuvenated and woke their god up, our gods. The gold mitra for the high priest, and thus described, and thou shalt make a plate of pure gold, engrave engrave upon it, like the engravings of a signet, holiness to the Lord. From the triplicated sentence in the above quotations, like the engravings of a signet, it is proved that gem engraving was practiced anterior to the time of Aaron, who officiated years before Christ. We know that's fictional character. And the great, because it's in your head. The great antiquity, therefore, of sculptured gems will not be questioned, and their models, ciphers, or style of art may speak of a people, their epochs, or their progress in civilizations. In the development of the present work, every branch of the fine arts will be brought forward to uphold and substantiate this Tyrian. This is a Masonic individual. Well, not Masonic, but, of that order, those orders, They having all obtained in the Western Hemisphere previous to the time of Columbus, which period anterior to the Genoese, 1492 AD, is contemplated by the new historic term, Ancient America. Arthur Kessler, the 13th tribe. I appreciate everybody showing up. I really do. Because this is so important. It is. Arthur Kessler, the 13th tribe, you know that they murdered him and his wife, so-called over, they say that, suicide, the common run to. Anyway, when we last left off, we were at the dictates of the party line completed the process of obliteration, which started with the flooding of the remains of Sarkel. And then we were at 5. We crossed the path of intensive trading and cultural interchanges did not prevent the Rus from gradually eating their way into the Khazar Empire by appropriating their Slavonic subjects and vassals. We know about the Jewish boat Israel, or Jesus, that was taking our people all over, Great Britain, France, and everywhere else. Not bringing no one here from some wayward place other than more pale skins and Negroes who are changed phonetically in the head. Anyway, this was to prove a decisive event in Russian history. Just tapping over the few so you remember, for those who have been watching. If not, the video is up, you can go back. Though it apparently happened without an armed struggle, according to the Chronicle, Novgorod, and we're not going to run through all these names of Oskol and Dur and all of them to death, okay? Because that's what took place. But Kiev soon outshunned Novgorod in importance. It became the capital of the Varangians and the mother of Russian towns, while the principality, which took its name, became the cradle of the first Russian state, the Principality. Joseph's letter, written about a century after the Rus occupation of Kiev, no longer mentions it in his list of Khazar possessions, but influential Khazar Jewish communities survived both in the town and province of Kiev, and after the final destruction of their country, they were reinforced by large numbers of Khazar immigrants. The Russian Chronicle keeps referring to heroes coming from Zemlya Zhidlovskaya, the country of the Jews. And so at this time, they believed them, the Khazars, the Ashkenaz, to be us. In order to hide that, they would have to go around the world subjugating and creating wars, and something we seem to not be able to get out of. Gate of the Khazars in Kiev kept the memory of its Easterwild rulers alive to modern times. Did you hear me? Gates of the Khazars in Kiev kept the memory of its erstwhile, the Eastwild rulers alive to modern times. We have now progressed into the second half of the 9th century, and before continuing with the tale of the Russian expansion, must turn our attention to some vital developments among the people of the steppes. Now, I know y'all are aware of the people of the steppes, right? Particularly the Magyars These events ran parallel with the rise of Rus power and had a direct impact on the Khazars. It's funny how we know about the steppes of South America. And on the map of Europe, the fact that we found it and colonized Europe, it's kind of funny to me. The Magyars had been the Khazars' allies and apparently willing vassals since the dawn of the Khazar Empire. The problem of their origin and early wanderings have long perplexed scholars. Macartney wrote, elsewhere he calls it one of the darkest of historical riddles. About their origin, all we know with certainty is that the Magyars were related to the Finns, and their language belongs to the so-called Finno-Ugrian language family, together with that of the Vogel and Ostiak people living in the forest regions of the northern Urals. Thus, they were originally unrelated to the Slavonic and Turkish nations of the steppes, in whose midst they came to live. An ethnic curiosity, which they still are to this day. Modern Hungary, unlike other small nations, has no linguistic ties with its neighbors. The Magyars have remained an ethnic enclave in Europe, with the distant Finns as their only cousins. Can't make this up. Behold a Pale Horse, William Cooper. You can still donate, people. I guess I won't be ordering that book until next week or whatever. I don't know. I'm tempted just to pay for it all, but we are a team. Now, this Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, Namaste. I have to run that out. I would never recommend utilizing the word Namaste as prescribed. It gives energy to another consortium. I am just utilizing it because it's on the book. William Cooper, a very bright, intelligent, and wise man, printed the book, dead. And we know that it's been a little mingled with. Well, not too much. Author's note, the name may even have a deeper meaning as the name Jason and the Golden Fleece appears throughout history. And this is where I'm coming from. Remember we was reading, I'm gonna make sure. So we already went through the Trilateral Commission. We went through a whole span of that. A key to the danger presented by the Trilateral Commission is seminal peace. We already covered that. Remember that George Bush was a member of the Trilateral Commission? We covered that. So when we left off, that was right here. The Jason Society, or Jason Scholars, takes its name from the story of Jason and the Golden Fleece. We covered that, and so we're in the author's note, okay? Just want to make sure you're with me. The name may even have a deeper meaning as the name Jason and the Golden Fleece appear throughout history in relation to various other secret societies. In these instances, the story represents man, Jason, looking for himself the Golden Fleece. Are you starting to get the drift of this? Top secret documents that I read while with naval intelligence stated that President Eisenhower had commissioned the Jason Society to examine all the evidence, facts, lies, and deception to find the truth of the alien question. Founders of the Jason Group, not the same as the Jason Society, include members of the famous Manhattan Project. Are y'all, don't be quick. Y'all do remember that. Man, that's on like 6. That's one line. Y'all do remember that, right? The Manhattan Project? Look into it. We know that they've obscured everything, but you must have the acute eye, remember? Which brought together almost every leading physicist in the nation to build the atomic bomb during World War II. To build, not develop, but to relearn, to make it again. The group is made up mostly of theoretical physicists and is the most elite gathering of scientific minds in the United States. As of 1987, the membership included 4 Nobel Prize winners, and today Jason continues to offer scientific help the government cannot find anywhere else. They are probably the only group of scientists in the United States that know the true state of highest technology. Jason is shrouded in what appears to be unnecessary secrecy. The group refuses to release its membership list, and none of the members' lists Jason membership on their official resumes. Working completely behind the scenes, Jason has guided the nation's most important security decisions, and these include, but are not limited to, Star Wars, submarine warfare, and predictions about the greenhouse effect. The Jason members are each paid a $500 per day consultant's fee. We're going to read this one little part and we'll carry on. In the documents that I read, while in naval intelligence, the Jasons predicted that the greenhouse effect would lead ultimately to an ice age. According to the Pentagon, the Jasons hold the highest and most restrictive security clearances in the nation. They are given the protocol rank of Rear Admiral, 2 stars, when they visit or travel aboard ships, or visit military bases. The only other reference to the Jason group that I have been able to find is in the Pentagon papers. And the papers stated that Jason was responsible for designing the electronic barrier between North and South Vietnam for the purpose of sealing off infiltration of the South by North Vietnamese regulars during the Vietnam War. I was stationed on the DMZ, and I can tell you that it did not work. You heard me right. Pretty interesting reads. DNA of the Gods, the Anunnaki creation of Eve, and the alien battle for humanity. Oh man, I want to eat that so good. It's so good. My goodness, my mouth is watering thinking about that. Yes, by Chris H. Hardy, okay? I'm not saying the last part because you know that stuff doesn't mean nothing. MDs, PhDs, and all that other crap. Okay. We went through the psychological traits, the psychological shadow side, and we cut it off at the habit of shifting responsibilities to others when we were talking about the knucklehead who murdered his relative. Then on the social shadow side, we see nepotism and clan behavior, despotism and tyranny, coercion. We did this, but we need to run this through. Competition and plotting. Racism, hatred, and vengeful actions, disproportionate punishments with mock trials, strife, and wars, enemy brothers and enemy sisters, genocidal drives, murder, rape, perversity, abusing women, and adolescents stealing, invading others' territories, murdering or incapacitating competitors. Among the worst mistakes done with a vengeful intent was the destroying of one's cultural treasures for the sake of punishing or incapacitating the enemy brother. The defilement of other gods, temples, and holies of holies happened a first time with the Egyptian Iker, the Great Pyramid, and a second time with the post-diluvial space station in the Sinai. On the ground, people. I told you the universe is within you. You must do the research. But nothing came near the ultimate stupidity and blunder of putting one's own entire Sumerian civilization at stake in the pursuit of petty vengeance. And this again 2 times. The first time when they had voted in the assembly of the gods to erase humanity through the coming deluge. They thus lost both their followers and the task force needed to rebuild the cities. The second time, listen to this. The second time, the use of nukes against Marduk in what is now Palestine and Israel, without anticipating the patterns of the radiation cloud that ended up destroying nearly all life in Mesopotamia. Remember I told you that sand over there is not even native to the land? Oh, this is known. Look it up. That sand in that big desert out there that used to be nothing but green is not even of that soil. In brief, is there any flaw or shortcoming in our own human listen to this, share that is not exemplified in our gods? More to the point, are there any of the 7 deadly sins that are not regularly instantiated even by the greatest gods? For the sake of memory and for non-Judeo-Christian readers, these are sins that may bring to the perpetrator I'm going to get you in a minute. Eternal damnation, such as taking the life of another person. In fact, we may be grateful that we were given a list of commandments through Moses, because it gave us the will and eventually the skills to gain self-control. We learned to cross-examine our motives and subsequent actions. We strained to put our deeds in accordance with our values. We strove to understand others and give them the respect we would like to get. In other words, it did set for our earthborn human societies high values and an ethical code. And progressively, it's funny how they don't mention 7 virtues. But let's move on. And progressively, we gained at least some degree of awareness and self-control, not even to mention the cherishing of high values of forgiveness, support, caring, selfless love, altruistic actions, social equality, retribution for working, laws for all, governance through the law and the Constitution, all laboriously and painfully developed and still in the process of pulling us out of a barbaric past. The Book of Giants, The Watchers, Nephilim, and the Book of Enoch by Joseph Lumpkin. I'm sorry for not showing the books. My apologies, everybody. I hope you got family and friends or somebody sitting down. And compassion for Inky, the one who spared us. Yeah, well, these so-called gods, they're not our gods. They have people worshiping the enemy without knowing the truth. This language is a curse. Okay, so anyway, when I left off here, we were at, I was talking about Genesis 6, and there's a great book that I'm waiting on. It hasn't showed up yet. And we're going through all the comparisons between the Old Testament and some of the New. And we'll go ahead and pick up, and I believe there are, chapter 18 was the part we were at. So let's go and negate that. Because last time we read, I saw the mouths of all the rivers of the earth and the mouth of the deep. Here we pick up. 1, I saw the storehouse of all the winds. I saw how he had adorned the whole creation with them and the firm foundations of the earth. Foundations of the earth. Genesis 6 is pretty much the whole gamut of what we're reading as far as the Sumerian. Then 2, and I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the 4 winds which support the earth in the firmament of the heaven. Heaven, not heavens. 3, I saw how the winds stretch out the height of heaven and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of heaven. I saw the winds, 4. I saw the winds of heaven, which turn and bring the sky and the sun and all the stars to their setting place. No moon. I saw the winds, 5. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the paths of the angels, and I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of heaven above. And if you remember in reading The Woman Across the White Walls, and they talked about the 2 lands, which the mechanical wing individuals and those with the flesh wings, they visited here. They used to visit. They didn't want to intercede. Remember, they defeated the custodians at a lot of loss and made a pact not to intervene. Not saying they wouldn't, but you get what I'm saying. And 6, and I continued south and saw a place which burns day and night, where there are 7 mountains of magnificent stones, 3 towards the east and 3 towards the south. And 7, and as for those towards the east, they were of colored stone, and one of pearl, and one of jacinth, a stone of healing, and those towards the south of red stone. 8, but the middle one reached to heaven like the throne of God, and was made of alabaster. I was surprised they don't say onyx. And if you remember Flatlantis, Negro Mountain, where no one can get to. 9. And the summit of the throne was of sapphire. And 10. And I saw a great abyss of the earth with pillars of heavenly fire, and I saw among them fiery pillars of heaven, which were falling. 11. And as regards both height and depth, they were immeasurable. And 12. And beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament or heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. No firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water on it, and no birds. And 13. But it was a desert and a horrible place. I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains. And 14. And an angel questioned me regarding them. And the angel said, this place is the end of heaven and earth. 2 more. We know that they have to put angels in the words to terms. We're not just being dismissive. We just know that it's to keep people conditioned and programmed with a false sense of help. 15. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Creator in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come out at their proper time. And 16. And he was angry with them, and bound them until the time when their guilt should be consummated, even before 10,000 years. If you've been following me, you should have a little gist of what is going on here, a little discernment. I'm gonna eat one more of these, man. I ain't gonna let this get cool. I'm sorry, I gotta do it because this stuff is good, man. And I don't microwave this one's hot pasta. I should have waited, but I couldn't. All right. Exposing the Expositions, 1851-1915, revised edition, 2021, from 2019, when the fake demic happened, by Howdy Mikowski. And just by reading this alone, based upon historical facts, pictures, and relevance and everything else, you know that everything here is the old world, and you know it's a lie. Everything is a lie. I showed you the picture of San Francisco, 1909. It looks like a modern city, right? But they have a 1906 where it's bombed down, and there's no way in the world they can even build 2 or 3 of those buildings in 3 years with 50,000 people. And that picture of 1906 was not 1906. That bombed out? No, that was after. Next come the above odd photograph. Well, it doesn't seem odd at first glance. Just a picture of San Francisco after having rebuilt the city. What is odd is the time frame in this photo, 1909. Similar photos can be found dated to 1908. You have seen the earthquake disaster photos where basically nothing was left. How can in 2 years a complete build of all the brick and stone buildings we see in these 1909 photographs happen? It is just not possible. It's totally impossible. Could anyone believe that San Francisco had been totally rebuilt in 2 years? Or was the city in 1908 fine and been fine all along? Because it was not fully built in 2 years and then photographed with zero construction happening in the photographs. So that either means one of 2 things. A, if there was a disaster in San Francisco, it must have been a long time prior, at least 100 years, and was photographed at that time, meaning photography is much older than claimed. And then the city was fully built up over 100 years, hence the 1878 panorama could be genuine, but after over 100 years of building. If this is true, then the earthquake of 1906 was some sort of forged event, using the photos of the original long ago disaster. Or B, There was no disaster at any time to San Francisco, and in 1906, perhaps a small part of the city was purposely destroyed, say with dynamite, which is true. That area was photographed from several angles to suggest the entire city was like this one area. It then becomes easy to rebuild 10 or 20 blocks to a city in two or so years. Of a city in 2 or so years, because the rest of the city was fine with either scenario. Because of the belief of a destroyed city in an earthquake, there will be no question of the age of the buildings. And in parentheses, it states has to be after 1906, because everything had been destroyed, but it had not. I am learning to combine the combination of A and B here, that something happened to San Francisco a long time in the past, and it was just pasted over to pretend to have happened in 1906. 1908 was also the year a giant fleet of U.S. warships traveled the world, and in parentheses it states, on some sort of odd presentation of peace. It was known as the Great White Fleet, and they left after the 1907 fair in Jamestown. One of the stops of the fleet was in San Francisco. Okay, it was coming to bring hope to the damaged city, but what kind of peace mission in a foreign land needs to dock 16 battleships in their port? Was the peace mission really a disguised war mission, or was it some sort of war like Victory Lap of the World? And we know what happened in 1830 up to 1890. They were fighting, and they wanted to make it mythology. Queen Khalifa and millions of our brothers and sisters. So they can assert these fraud Mongolians and Mongols and Mongrels. Mongrels are the pale skins. Mongols are the Asiatic ones. The Torch aren't really Asiatic. Now, I'm not saying they're not a kinfolk. I still believe a lot of them are from different lands, because we had our own pale skin people here. Oh, you better believe it. You better know this. It doesn't matter what race and all this other crap some of these Negroes, Sanchez, and all these other individuals be pushing. Trust me. Anyway, another oddity is a 1908 photo of an Elks Club meeting in San Francisco. 1908 photo of an Elks Club meeting in San Francisco. Unfortunately, this one was found by a photographer at a local garage sale and can be seen here. The elite are gathering and obviously happily living it up and partying. This while much of the city is supposed to be still living in refuge camps and barely functioning slums. And in parentheses it states, which of course we don't see in photos. We see fully functioning cities, and these people in the Elks Club photo do not have a care in the world. This very image reminds me of the closing shot of Kubrick's masterpiece, The Shining, a movie that links later with Eyes Wide Shut to present the control of the masses and who it is that is doing the controlling. Kubrick's party and this Elks party is the same. Anyway, bird's eye view of 1915 exhibition. And if you think they can build this in 2 years, something's wrong with your head. What were we doing? We've been fighting a war nonstop up until not too long ago, where we've been stagnant. There's a time for everything. Heaven's Bearers, The Great Reset of 1834 and the Mud Flood. Janine Helen. There she is in South Africa. Whee! You know I gotta show her. Let's go ahead and get this out because I'm hungry and I gotta get some sleep too, y'all. Okay, where was he at? There was a whole lot of fighting going on. I actually was going over this again. Okay, here we go. You remember this part? Come on, beast, I am ready for you, he says in both Amelia and Cassiel appear at his side, ready for the most intense battle of their lives. It will be up to the three of them to stop him, and they know this. We need to get closer to the creature. We can't risk him bringing the fight here and hurting our people. The twins agree, and they start to run towards him. He knows what they want to avoid. They want to avoid and diverts the lightning strikes towards the people hiding in the mountains. They can hear screams and know someone is hurt or dead. Emil leaps up into the air and he uses the full strength of the staff to knock Azrael onto the ground. Azrael? I keep the tripod here. Now, we are on a level playing field, beast. Emil is cheeky and arrogant, like his father, and uses it to his advantage. Come on, beast. Show me what you can do. He taunts him, and Azrael takes the bait. He stops attacking the mountains and focuses all his hatred and anger onto Amelie. You look like him, you know, and I will enjoy killing you just as much as I enjoyed watching him die. Azrael expects to see pain in his eyes, but there isn't any. You do understand what I am saying, human. Your father is dead. Oh, and so is your mother. He thinks they are unaware of their deaths and wants to get under their skin, but this only makes them want to fight harder and better. Amelia steps forward slowly. What are we waiting for? Can we send this beast back to where he belongs already? I am tired of these games. I agree. It's time to go back to the underground, beast. Emil scoffs, but is interrupted by Cassiel. Cassiel notices a sudden change in the sky, and he grabs hold of the twins. Get back to the mountains and hide, he shouts. Mother Nature has joined in the fight, and with her on her side, they stand no chance. Cassiel knows he needs to distract them to give the twins a fighting chance and to get back to the mountains. But deep down inside, he also knows that even if they make it, they cannot hide from Mother Nature. Not for long. Stop this, he calls out to her. Can't you see what suffering you are helping to unleash upon this earth? We had lived for 1,000 years in peace and absolute harmony. He shakes his head in disbelief. Look around you. How much better is the earth now? There is no peace and happiness and only pain and death. Can you really say this is better than what was before? He gets down on his knees and bows his head. Forgive us that's that worshiping shit. Anyway, forgive us if we have wronged you, but this needs to stop now. His eyes turn bright blue and he keeps them down on the ground and completely humbles himself before Mother Nature. He feels a sudden shock of pain and falls face first onto the ground. He coughs up hot and sour tasting blood and can see reptile-looking feet approaching him. It is Azrael, and sniffs his charred clothing, then licks the side of his face. Mother Nature can't hear you anymore because she chooses not to. She is my little puppet now, you silly Tartarian. You beings never learn, and this is why I will win every time. I am the master of deception, he says, and raises his arm up into the air and lets it fall back down again, signaling the lightning to finish him off. Nope, I'm gonna read this part wrong. Oh, anticipate. I was gonna read a lot. No, anticipation. When I get to where I'm going, I'm gonna come on, go live, and I'm gonna read. I'm taking these books. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm taking. No, I'm waiting till I get back. I might take 3 or 4 of them. I gotta take. Well, I have where I can read on the phone and on my tablet, so I'm good actually. No, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Who's all up in here? Let me give y'all some shout outs. Hey, Sue, what's up, baby girl? Randall Smallfoot, Mama Red, I'll get you up. Mikey Hill, peace, what's going on, brother? Glad to see you guys over here, man. That was Philip, I think Philadelphia, man. Project was nuclear experimentation, yes. The Bush is still fighting over there. So, hey, Mr. Lone Wolf, what's up, beloved brother? The King
pagan and his name was Namja. Yes, yes. It reminds me of Rondo. Namja. Junja. No, anyway, I'm just kidding. Was kindness and compassion from Enki, the one who was spread? No, they're all enemies. And Anunnakis are enemies. The Watchers like Nimrod, and boy, is that guy with the hat. Yeah, that's you, all right. Yeah, cornerstones. Damn right. I am the. What is it? How does it go? Judo flip. I am the rock that the creator, the cornerstone of life. That's who we are. I am the rock that the creator refused. I am invincible. No way, Jose. They were making claims to be the fake achievements. Literally. Let's remember now. In order to enslave a people, you must make all people believe in something opposite what is truth, right? They made sure that we hated pale skins and made sure that pale skins hated us. I don't believe in this white and black phenomenon. We know the history of when it was created because it's still recent. Yet they were here, people. It doesn't matter what you believe. Do you think creation, when they created diversity and everything, that it just said, this is it? I know that we have these black exploitations, like the black exploitation movies with an idea of 70s, the thing that really wrecked out people, that signifies something and different. Now, I point to other things at times because I want you to open your mind and be open to many different suggestions. But the truth is within you. I'm not going to give you answers that might not be answers at all. Together, we can know all things. But if they want to subjugate them when they walked with us just as well. Think about the possibilities of truth. The two distinct people of this land is truthful. There was a purpose for that. And that purpose has been reduced to nothing. All right? Say it like Namey Red Wolf. Huh? What's Namey? I don't know what that means. My apologies, but I don't. But anyway, right? I've been around for a while. I've seen things, and I know some stories. I'm just not ready to tell. But I guess they fear me telling the story. Maybe they'll attempt the same goopy stuff over here. I don't care. All right? But at the same time, it's their mistake. They're the ones that gotta live. That's not living. They're the ones that are gonna have to deal with it. Not you. Nor anyone else. That's an illusion. Okay? You gotta wake up, people. No, I'm not talking about woke and all that. Pagan King. Oh, okay. I don't know what name I never heard of that before. But anyway, a lot of things, even the term pagan, is Kabbalistic. It's to dismiss something that may be relevant. Just like ancient pictures of trees of life where all the energy resided. They had to be chopped down. Why? Well, that was the perversion. And what happened with the Titans and everything else? Things got out of hand. We had to mitigate change. Hence, deluge, mud floods covering up grand cities that were untouchable. And someone came along right afterwards and started making the change with no indifference, being led by something. I would think. I don't know. You dig? Oh my goodness, y'all just don't know. Oh, it's so good. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I'm gonna enjoy this meal. I love y'all, beautiful sisters, and my beloved brothers, 201. I appreciate y'all coming in. Now, let's see, maybe tomorrow, the next day I might read, or maybe I won't. All right. Still waiting on the help out. What did I say? 260 what? 250, 70. Okay, y'all know the number. I already got mine to match it. I showed you some of the books that I want to get, but the two of them are kind of expensive. One was 70 something, and the other one was. Well, anyway, y'all know the ditches. The total of all the books I'm going to get, I can get them in like 3 months, but Whoa. And the thrift books, those ones I can get pretty cheap, but some of the books are kind of expensive over there because of the time and the fact that, like, the one book that I got to get in the binder fixed, that was in the first 10 of this edition, first 10 original books. So I was lucky to be able to get that. All right. So I appreciate everybody coming in, and I love y'all, and y'all have a wonderful and great evening.